Awesome. So now we know the purpose of our Facebook content. We want to know the different types of ways we can actually post to our audience on Facebook. Now, this is actually going to be an interesting section or an interesting little lecture because as you can see here, there are a lot of ways that you can reach your target audience or reach the audience that already follows you on Facebook. Now, what this lecture is basically about is cutting out all the useless ways to do it. There's four most powerful content types, and we're going to go into these in real detail with some really awesome hacking the newsfeed algorithm, making sure we appear in as many people's newsfeeds as possible. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But what I want you to take away from this lecture, really important, is that most of these are going to waste your time. You don't want to try and spread everything out onto all of these different types of Facebook content, from tagging, from stories, to checking in, to doing a watch party, to links, to recommendations, to get-togethers, to text, to lives, to photo text, to photo albums. There's so many different ways you can actually use Facebook and use Facebook content. What you need to know, and which will separate you from all the other slow-moving Facebook groups, is that there are four most powerful content types. And this needs to take up 90% of your content. If you're posting 10 times a week, and we'll get into scheduling and cadence of posts very soon, but if you're posting 10 times a week, 9 of those should be within these, should be the medium of the four most powerful content types, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And then 10% can be testing anything else you want to test, because it's always important to test, especially if there's new features coming out. You want to make sure you're jumping on them and testing them as soon as they come out, but you want to stick with what's working and what's getting you the best results. So, what are the four most powerful content types that you need to use to start, and to, even if you're at 100,000 likes or 100,000 followers for your page, you want to be utilizing these four content types because they're by far the most powerful way to either engage and educate or drive a hard call to action. So it's having a photo, having a video, having just plain text or a picture text, or using a story on your page. These are the four ways that people are going to be educated. They're going to be influenced to actually take your call to action and buy your product and sign up to your service. These are the four ways that you need to be focused on 90% of the time. It seems so simple when I write it out like this and I put them in these quadrants, but you really need to not be overwhelmed or confused and just cut everything that's not working, which is every other form of interaction with your audience, except maybe if you're testing, which needs to be less than 10% of the time. So here's an example of a photo from Zara. You can see it's just a photo of their product. Track soles are in step with style this year, and a link to buy. So if you watched the last lecture, which please tell me you didn't skip over the last lecture because it's very, very important, you'll know this is a hard call to action using an image or a photo, which is a very, very strong way to do it, using one of the top four most powerful content types, and then having a very simple and direct call to action. Zara do really well at this. You can see Zara's also done the same thing, but they've done it with a video. And obviously I can't include the video here, but it's been paused and these words are flying around and flashing in and out just to grab your attention in the newsfeed. But once again, it's a hard call to action using a very simple video. And that's the key. If you're posting videos on your Facebook page, you don't need them to be 5 minutes long. This is just a 10-second or a 5-second long video. And that just means it's moving in the newsfeed and people are looking at it. We're going to go into ways to create this sort of stuff for yourself. Text, really simple, really easy. This is one from Facebook Business, which was just basically an update. But text, and we'll go into this too, surprisingly perform really, really well in trying to optimize how many news feeds that you appear in your Facebook audience. And again, we're going to go into all that soon. The last one is Facebook Stories. So relatively new feature, the ability to post stories. And obviously this becomes originally from Snapchat, and then it's been passed through Instagram, and now it's on Facebook, it's on WhatsApp, it's on all the main platforms. People like stories, which is just a form of content that you put up that disappears in 24 hours. This is from the Langham in Melbourne, which is a hotel in my home city. And you can see it's just an educational, inspiring piece. A little video it was that showed basically the atmosphere at the Langham at this hotel if you go and eat there. So Stories are really effective and they get lots and lots of views, so definitely try that. Make sure you're using text, make sure you're using video, make sure you're using photo. And I'm going to show you how you can know which ones are the best for your page specifically, but it's very important that you try all 4 of these and you focus, not just try, on all 4 of these content types.